Hello folks, welcome to Once Driven Forever Smitten. This episode will see us heading south to the VBOA National Rally at Sywell Aerodrome in Northamptonshire. This is the biggest gathering of Vauxhalls, Bedfords and Opels in the country. It's an event I used to go to every year but haven't been since 2014, so it's long overdue. We were going to be taking Kenzo's Astra GT 16 valve, but it wasn't going for MOT this morning and it's turned out that it's failed, so taking the Cavalier CD. Right, stick that in your wrist.
I'll skip. Turn left, and there's the red gazebo.
Oh, I see it there.
Long, so
cool, I see it there.
That's
cool. That's alright. Well, hello. I'm supposed to park about here. It's just Opel Vauxhalls bit, innit? I'm just going to plonk it over somewhere. Well, stick it up in the back corner there. Hello. Stick it here. Morning folks, from a very windy and not very warm Sywell Aerodrome for the VBOA show. First things first, I'm going to give the Cavalier a clean because it's quite dirty, and we're going to go around and look at a lot of the cars. Some really cool stuff here. Nice venue, just yeah, windy. V101's in there. The yellow stuff in the can, just spray that in it and let it sit for a minute to go round them. Just hit it with some Calibra wax after wiping it down with some wet wax stuff because we didn't have any water, to clean water to dry it off, and that would take too long. But this the Calibra wax should work fine. It always goes on quite well on this paint, and just wipe it off, it'll be all shiny and clean. That's made quite a big difference to it. Alrighty, so we've got the Cavalier cleaned and polished up, so it looks respectable from a distance. Quite a lot of people coming over to talk to us about it and things, which is nice. I'm going to go and look at some of the cars now, starting off with our big lineup of Cavalier turbos on the Just Opel Vauxhall stand. Now, there's an interesting mix of turbos here. It's the 30th anniversary of the car this year. First one in the row is this diamond black one, which is close to standard. Externally, it's had the plastic on the bumpers painted, and it's got the Laguna splitter on it. This one's got the leather, and it's got the electronic speedo clocks in it. It's an L reg, so it's kind of like the second generation of turbos, because they constantly updated the cars throughout production, of course. Turbo number 2, the red. This one's been lowered. He's got the electric clocks as well, and the leather. Sits nice and low to the ground, that one. Like, I think it might have the camber adjustment on it, because the wheels tend to splay in quite a bit when you lower them. That one doesn't have the Laguna front splitter on it. Another diamond black turbo. This one's very clean, good private reg on it. Really nice set of badges, which are hard to get now. This one's got some yellow piping on the leather, you can see that in there. This is an early version of the turbo. It's got the pre-airbag 3-spoke steering wheel. It's got some Calibra clocks in the middle of it, very clean inside. Of course, this one's kind of looks like it's in standard suspension. Got a nice ride height to it, which is kind of what we want Kenzo's to be sitting like. And it's got the wipers on the lights as well, which were deleted as time went on. As we move down the row here, we get to some more modified turbos, and this one's particularly impressive. It's got some work done under the bonnet, and it's also got customised interior. This car has been in total Vauxhall a couple of times. It's got the black leather, it's got a normal wheel, I think it's got a PlayStation in it. It's got something like a graphic equaliser or something down the bottom there. It's got an armrest in the middle, possibly not out of Vectra, I don't know what that's out of. It's very clean, but it's got a big set of subwoofers in the back, and it's got this really impressive boot install there as well. There's two magazine features in there. That one with the Calibra was when I was editor of the magazine. I don't know what exact issue it was, but the car's had quite a good life. It's been looked after for a lot of years, and we've got a set of restoration photos of it there when it's been rebuilt over the years. The paintwork on this thing's superb. This one's satin red. Now this will have the camber adjustment bolts on it, because if you lower a Cavalier normally with independent rear suspension, your tyres will end up sitting in like that, and it puts strain on the driveline, so you need to get these adjustment kits for them to make the wheels sit straight up when they're lowered. It's satin red is a little bit lighter than the Bordeaux red, which my GSI is. That's really nice. That's flawless paintwork on it. Such a nice car. And this Cavalier Turbo belongs to Stevie Comrie. It's a Scottish car, know it well. It's the only car I've ever seen with a flocked engine and battery. So a lot of power, this. Beautiful big set of Willwood brakes and compa motives on it. And it's got racing seats in it, mono wheel, TVR indicator stalks, gigantic brakes on the back of it. This thing be quite a weapon out on the motorway. One of the best modified Cavalier turbos around. Again, it's diamond black, and it's been in total Vauxhall at least once. Right on the end here we've got a spectral blue turbo with the wipers on the lights, and it's got the pre-airbag steering wheel. It's got the mechanical drive clocks, which say 62,000 miles. Wow, that is lovely. Standard suspension on it. It's got 205/50 tyres on it, which is the standard tyre size for one of these. It's got a black boot panel on it. There's a slight change. I think they're all body colour in the turbos from standard. And oh look at this, it's got an original turbo exhaust on it, which is a rare item now. They're hard to find. And again, this is a very clean car. Really nice these. 204 horsepower standard, top speed 149, 0 to 60, 6.4 seconds. The 6-speed box, just a superb car for racking up long distances in. It's got the small KKK turbo in it as well, so very responsive off the mark. You didn't get the turbo lag a lot of cars were suffered from in this era. Now this is a Cavalier Turbo with a long history. It was originally owned by Richard Phelps, who built the Lotus Cavalier, which you might remember that from the Max Power days in the 90s. It's now owned by Mark Bullock, who's continued to modify and update the car. It's got a lot of stuff going on under the bonnet. Interestingly enough, it's got the standard 4-wheel drive accumulator bulb setup on it, which is what my car has. A lot of people remove that in favour of locked transfer boxes. This one is Polar Sea Blue, which is one of the rarer colours, and look, it's got Lotus wheels on it. How impressive is that? I think that's quite a new upgrade to the car. 215/40/18 tyres on there as well. Immaculate paintwork on it. It's got a half cage in the back. It's got dials in the centre there. Racing seats, they look like they might be out another Vauxhall, maybe? I don't know. It's another very impressive car, a lot of power out it. Still on the Just Opel Vauxhall stand, I've just spotted two Cavalier SRIs behind me there. One's an A-Reg early spec, and the other one is a C-Reg, which is a mid-spec facelift model where they made quite a lot of changes to the car. I'm going to have a look at those now. This red SRI is probably the best one in the country, I think. It's owned by Mark Westwood, and it's very near to standard, very original car. It's got the standard wheels on it. Alright!
Right.
It's got the Recaro interior, which are probably the best seats. Vauxhall decided these were too expensive and removed them on the mid-spec facelift. But these tend to be a little bit better built. There were a few things removed from the mid-spec cars, but it's got oil pressure and battery gauges in it. They got taken out. Got the boot spoiler on it. On the front end of these, you notice on the early cars up to the B Reg, they've got smaller headlights on them, and they didn't have the front valance on them. They didn't come with those fog lights as standard. They're like an optional extra that Mark's added. So we're going to switch over now to the mid-spec car. You'll notice a bit of a difference in these. These have got bigger headlights, and then they put the egg crate grille on it, and they added headlamp wash whites, which you didn't get in the early ones, and the front valance as well. This one's got Momo arrows on it, but it's standard they would have come with wheel trims, because they deleted the alloys and made them an optional extra. Now these got a different steering wheel in them. They've got this T-shaped wheel, and the clocks no longer had the oil pressure gauge in it. And you've got these seats either in grey or a dark brown, which is a pretty rare option. I haven't really seen many of these. These are great seats, really comfortable, but they didn't have the Recaro badges on them. This was like Vauxhall's own variation using Recaro frames. And a couple of other bits of trim Vauxhall kind of skimped on. They stopped the parcel shelf supports where the speakers are. They started making them out compressed cardboard instead of metal. As we move to the back, there's a little bit of a difference. You've got this extended tail light panel on it, which came in with the mid-spec facelift on it there. And also the biggest thing you would notice about one of these driving it is they've got a very short ratio gearbox in it. The A-Reg one would be quite long geared. You'd find yourself maybe having to drop it into fourth on the motorway. This, they kind of rev their heads off, but they are quick on acceleration and mid-range. These gearboxes, people used to take them out and use them at Knock Hill and Novas, which gives you a very quick acceleration when connected to an XE. It's a nice car. There's not too many of these have survived. We have got one to go and see and drive soon for once driven, which I'm looking forward to. I think it's a red B-Reg hatch, which is totally standard. Check this out, because you know we really like yellow vehicles at Once Driven Forever Smitten. C-Reg Bedford Astra Mk2 van, immaculate. I think it's got a C20 LEP turbo in it. 16-inch steel wheels on 4-stud, which I suspect might be Volkswagen. I don't know, but it's spotless, this like. Is this something's for sale? I'm going to look at that now. Oh yeah, that's fantastic. I don't know if you'll be able to see inside it, but it's got Astra SXI sport seats with half leather on them, and it's got a 3-spoke GT 16 valve wheel, and I think a digital dash in it. That's fantastic. I like that a lot. A lot of nice Astras here. Astra convertible, a half leather, rainbow seats, turbo wheels on it. Very clean GT 16 valve in white. And an F-Reg 16 valve. Very clean Mark 3 GSI. Right, found this immaculate Mark 3 Astra GSI, the Phase 2 one, and the owner Tony's here, so we're going to chat with him, find out a little bit more about it. Well, tell us a bit about it. How long have you had the car for? And have you? It's got a few modifications on it, but it's kind of very close to standard. See, it's got the 5-stud wheels and the cruise control.
That's right. Yeah, I bought the car 2017, and just completely restored it over 18 months.
What kind of condition was it like when you got it?
To be fair, it's the underneath was a bit like the brakes, you know, rusty, brushes and everything. So I just renewed everything.
Because there's not. There's not many of these going about, the Phase 2 cars, and the ones that you do see usually have the Ecotec engine removed as well.
That's right, yeah, they put the Saab or the VXR engines in them.
So, I mean, what sort of miles is on it?
It's turned to 99,000 now.
what have you done to it? I see it's got 5 stud wheels on it.
Yeah, it's bigger brakes, and I managed to get wheels very similar to the original, but an inch bigger.
Yeah, I see that, because these cars have usually got, it's this style of armature wheel on it, but it's 4 stud. I didn't notice that. Have you had Astras before? You done these kind of projects in the past?
No, I haven't, to be fair.
So this is the first time you've gone on?
Yeah.
Taking it on?
Yeah, it is.
That looks really clean under the bonnet. What did you do to get all this? Have you had it all painted under the bonnet and things?
I painted it under the bonnet myself.
You did it?
Yeah, stripped everything. Because the paint was alright, but where the wires have been rubbing, the paint had come off in places and that, so I just freshened it up. I managed to get away with not painting this, you know.
Ah, looks good, like, and of course you've got the cruise control modification on it.
Yeah, I fitted up myself.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Like, what, is it all standard interior wise?
Yeah, yeah.
Things like it's because these came with a different interior. They've got like a different it's got like a stripy sort of effect on the Recaro,
A couple of different ones.
Yeah, this is the phase 2 interior. I said that these weren't made for a long time, and I don't think they sold an awful lot of them. But they're really nice, because the later ones tend to be more resistant to rot as well, with early GSIs, well, all early Mark III Astras being quite prone to rotting out. Ah, well, this is beautiful. Look at that. So paintwork's immaculate on it. So have you got, oh look, they've got the mirror out as well. Check this out. Look at the underside of it. I don't know if you can see that there, but it is as clean on the underside as it is on the top. Yeah, it's lovely. If Total Vauxhall magazine still existed, I would say I would come and do a feature on it, but it doesn't, so. Also, we've got a story on here as well about the car, and they picked it up in 2017, and they reckoned it was an armed forces car that was stationed in Germany. Of course, the Mark V Astra VXR was peak Vauxhall. These things are fantastic, and they had such a strong following. With enthusiasts and tuners, and they still do, I suppose. But the shame is that the Mark VI was the very last of the performance ones. I haven't really seen so many of them on the road, but the Mark V VXR was an enormous success, and it's such a shame that Vauxhall aren't doing any performance models anymore. You know, cheers GM for getting rid of them, shutting down Holden and Saab, and also Stellantis for mucking about and not giving us any performance models. Anyhow. Well, nice standard Nova GTE with it's got the wheel trims on it. Really nice, and beside it we've got, there's a 13SR. Beside it an E-Reg, that's the last of the ones with the tartan interior. There's a little snowplow bumper on the front of it. Yes. Last of the early SRs. I mean, these had quite a long run at it, because these were out from like the A-Reg right through to the E. So, but people used to take those snowplow bumpers off back in the day. They didn't want them. They'd take them off, throw them away and facelift the cars, and now these facelift bumpers are a fortune. It's got the tartan, same as Kenzo's. Nice. That's probably the most desirable spec out there, SRs, I think. It's the early one. And here we've got the Corsa Sprint. This one's got the dark interior in it, like the brown style SR tartan. Very nice. It's got the early clocks in it as well, dark brown dash. It's got the CD design wheels. What size are these? 15s. Cool bit of kit that. Sprint. I remember I had a whole load of those stickers that I got from lunch and sold online. Here we've got Corsa GSI, which has got a nice set of, I think they're Escort Cosworth and RS Turbo Recaro seats with the Corsa cloth stitched onto them. It's got that nice 3-spoke leather wheel. Astra VXR going past. Nice. Yeah. A nice original Corsa 1.4 16 valve GLS automatic. It's a nice thing about this event, you do get a lot of kind of standard original cars. Really nice. What does it say there? 17,500 miles from now. Sweet. Corsa GSI with 2 litre 16 valve engine on it. Very, very popular conversion. Goes really well on the Corsa. I've caught up with the owner of the yellow van Adrian and the white convertible Mark. They're both C20 Lets. I'm just going to find out a little bit more about them now. So, with the van, this was your work van for many years.
Yes.
How long have you had it for?
27 years.
1995.
Something like that, yeah.
So you've had it all that time. What did you use it as just a standard van
Yeah,
for?
1.3, yeah. Got it from scrapyard, £80.
Ran it for, how long did you run it for?
Oh, probably 10 years I bet, didn't I? Yeah, 10 years maybe.
Not bad.
1.3.
Not bad for 80 quid.
Then I put a 2 litre red top in it.
Right, was it just kind of standard van at that point when you put the red top on it?
Yeah, yeah. It was stealth. Yeah.
So what happened with the restoration, with it going to yellow and stuff? Did you have to do a lot of work to it to get it to?
It wasn't bad actually. It's original wheel arches. I put a sill on one side, half a sill on the other. Repaired back valve, straightened roof out, it's been jumped on as best as I can. It's not perfect.
I mean, you can't really see the roof on it anyway. It's quite high up.
New wings, spurious ones, not the best, but they're alright. New slant panel, because that was washed. Pair of doors on it, brand new back doors I managed to find.
That's a good find. Back doors, aye. It looks really straight, the bodywork and everything on it. The lids are not.
It was quite dinted, but it was quite solid. All floor's good and that. Yeah.
What colour of yellow is that? Is that Vauxhall colour?
No, it's a Mitsubishi Dandelion yellow.
Right.
I like that colour.
Good, it stands out. I like yellow.
Yeah.
That's good that. And your engine, the C20 Let?
It is, yeah.
So this is from, what is it?
Calibra.
Calibra.
Yeah. Got that about 15 years, that engine, and only put it in last 5 years, didn't we?
So how long has the van been on the road?
2 years. Yeah, 2 years, something like that now. Yeah, it was just parked up for a long time.
What are the wheels Volkswagen?
No.
Couldn't work out where they're from.
Renault Scenic began.
Right, I would
16 inch.
would never have guessed that. Renault Scenic wheels, there you go, that's another interesting mod that, because I was trying to think what Vauxhalls they could have been off, and I was like at Forsted.
Yeah.
Couldn't work it out.
Put a Vector C or Astra VXR rad pack in it. Yeah. With intercooler, so it's all lid.
Right,
as well.
£31 for a radiator, brand new.
Oh, well, that's alright, you can't knock that.
Intercooler, £10 a VB.
Superb.
Both in the same setup.
Got a long gearbox in it.
Alright, aye. That's,
Long gearbox.
was that an F18 then, is it?
It is, it's an F18. Can't remember if it's off a Cavalier diesel or
You're better off with the long box, I reckon.
It's smooth as out on motorway.
Aye, we're revving its head off otherwise, like.
Yeah. It's just like being in a modern car.
What about the inside? You've got the SXI seats on the inside, eh?
Yeah, SXI seats. I can't see it at the minute, but I've got a back seat conversion.
Ah, of course, because some of these came with back seats, didn't they? As an option, it was. I sort of love the back seats. Aye, that's really like the SXI trim.
Yeah.
Really hard to get as well. Yeah, you've changed it to half leather.
To match this, because this is standard here out of an SXI estate. So that's how that I did that because it were all one away anyway.
That's a really good find, that, because there are not many of those going about the SXIs.
Well, SXI estate probably about 20 years ago.
Right.
From salvage, just got engine to put in this, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then your brother did a van and used all the bumpers, so it would have done a vehicle.
I'd love to get a hold of an SXI, eventually, like a Belmont or any shape of them. They're nice cars, but so rare. Just everything's disappeared off the face of the planet, you know. It's shame that.
Flipped back axle as well. It's got a flip.
You've got because of course these run leaf springs in the back, don't they?
So I've welded brackets onto the side. Vector B6 disc and calipers on front. original stickers.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, original stickers, vent exhaust. It's got most of its transit with a way on back box.
Right. Some interesting mix of parts off other cars have used in this.
It's all to do stuff on cheap.
Aye.
Doing stuff as cheap as you can.
Yeah, that's clever that. So what have we got down here for sale?
Yeah.
Got, what's that, Vectra B back box?
Vectra B, yeah.
And we've got a set of Nova lights and Nova mirrors.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've got a GSI body kit in there.
Oh yeah, some good interesting bits of kit for sale there.
Yeah, new back door. Oh, that were all bashed in, straightened all that out. Because that's original as well.
No, so got carpeted inside of it as well.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Then seat folds up there.
Oh, class that, like.
And it's all sound deadened. I've done it all with that dynamite everywhere, under the seats. All inside here, all outsides.
That'll make a big difference.
It does.
How
That's
quiet.
what I'm saying. It's like being in a modern car at motorway.
Interesting, that. Yeah, that's
Managed
really
to get
nice.
some new seals from Autobox, they had them in stock.
Wow, that's a good find there. Oh, that was some great finds for that.
Believe it. They're always ripped, don't they?
Yeah, it's because they're just used so hard when they're working vans. Nobody ever cared about them when they were on the road.
They didn't know.
So,
That's all original as well. All original. They're original. They're all rotted away normally.
that's good. No, it must have it must have been a good one for the factory. This, they must have. Stuff. They're saying you did what? Every Sunday for 5 years.
Nearly every Sunday. Yeah, nearly every Sunday.
Building it.
Sunday morning.
Yeah. And painted it during lockdown.
Yeah.
Did you paint it yourselves?
We did, yeah.
How, oh, that's good. How did you get on with the painting? What kind of? Do you have to do a lot of prep work and things like that?
Yeah.
I want to go and paint my own Astra, but we're not quite. I need to set the garage up better to be able to do it, to get a good result on it.
Well, we kept getting bits in it and had to keep redoing bits. Kept reacting and stuff. It ain't perfect, but
Well, I don't know. It looks pretty bloody good, like.
I mean, that was hardest. I must have spent a month on that roof.
Right.
That one. The jumped up and down on
Oh,
it.
dear.
Got pounded in.
Oh. I mean, Dave, you looked on the side of it. I mean, it's your motor, so you could probably point out the things that you know that are there. But in general, like, it looks pretty flawless.
It's not bad.
Oh,
Not bad. I put some steel. I had to put some steel bars underneath the roof to hold it up because it was popping up and down.
dearie
You know,
me.
because it had been stretched. It did alright.
Here we've got Mark's Astra convertible. You painted this yourself as well?
Yeah.
Nicely done. Good effort. This is what gearbox have you got in this one?
An F20.
F20.
Yeah, F20. That's a GT box.
And you've got the 5-stud conversion on it as well. Have you had this for a long time?
12 years.
You always had Mark II Astras, kind of things like that. A lot of Vauxhalls.
Yeah, yeah. I have. Mark III estate with a C20 letting. Astra Max van.
Another Astra Max.
Yeah, years ago, 20 years ago.
Nice.
This was bought as a 1.6.
Oh right, it was.
Model.
It's one of the basic ones.
I bought the best shell I could find. They said, get the best shell that doesn't need any welding. It had one wheel arch.
Oh,
That's it. So there were no welding to do.
Oh, that's,
It is on a K-reg, as you can see.
yeah, and obviously with being a convertible, you need the structural rigidity on it as well, you know.
But what I do like about with it being a later one is it's got the gear stick, like the GT16, but the short shift
it's
rather
got the
than...
short lever in it, yeah. Because it being such a late one on a K, because of course the Mark III Astra came out on the J-Reg. And it's got the digital dash, it's got the rainbow seats, you get the half leather on it as well.
Yeah, so I basically just had to make it, you know, I knew what I wanted, but I bought the best shell and then just put the bits on. It did come with the bumpers and the side skirts, but obviously the interior, I think I paid £70 for that out of a convertible, but it was beige. But I just replaced the beige with the leather. I fit the digital dash, the check control, and obviously it came with a power steering, and then first red topped it, and then I got offered an engine at a price I couldn't refuse from a friend, so I had to buy it, rebuilt it, put it in.
Can't knock it for that, eh? Nice, nice car for the summer.
Well, the reason I did a convertible, I've had GTE's hardtops, I've had an Astra GSI Estate, you know, with a turbo, and I just thought, if it's going to be a classic car now, I'm only going to use it in good weather.
Yeah.
And I'd never had a convertible, so I thought I'll make a convertible change.
How'd you get on with that? What's it like to drive? Is it alright?
Yeah, it's just like driving a normal. I mean, that bar at the top,
Yeah.
you know, it's like a roof. It doesn't suffer from scuttle shake.
Yeah, it makes, I wonder how these compare to the Mark III, which doesn't have that bar on it.
A lot better. I mean, my missus had a Mark V, you know,
twin top. Yeah.
That was terrible for scuttle shake.
Right, yeah.
This is a lot more rigid.
Because the twin top weighs about 2 tons as well.
Yeah.
Really, really heavy
With
car.
the roof down, it was very bad for scuttle shake. Not this. Just drives like a normal Astra. No difference.
Do you know? I've not. Well, I broke one a while ago. A 2 litre, but I was already broken. I just bought a pile of bits, and I just got rid of the shell and used a whole lot of the stuff off it. But I've got the bits. I've got all the gear lever and everything out it, because I keep waiting for an automatic bellment to come up, so it's really cheap. So then I can go and I've got all the stuff to manualise it and fuel inject it and everything.
That'd be lovely.
Just waiting for the right thing to turn up though, eh?
Yeah.
Patience. Really nice. So, really nice pair of Mark II Astras from Mark and Adrian. Dandelion yellow. Both painted them themselves. Sun's come out now. It's really nice and hot, a bit windy. I'm going to go and probably get something to eat and a coffee. I've lost Kenzo, he's buggered off some bit. Don't know where, but I've got various people I need to see. And I've not been down the whole one side of this event. I'm going to have to cover some ground. The thing is, it's so nice to go and talk to people and stand about. It takes like 20 minutes of time and things to get a move on. We need to get a move on. I've just got to Club Calibra and a quick look down some of these. Some interesting cars. I see a nice late spec turbo here and an SE2 a bit further down. The late spec Calibra turbos came with these 16-inch 5-spoke wheels on it, as opposed to the more common variant on the turbos. This one's got the V grill on it. I don't know what colour that is. Not a rare one anyway. Modified turbo, a few bits of kit on it. That one, I think that's got the 17-inch wheels. That's got the BBS wheels, which would have come off the Astra Coupe. Now I've got the 16-inch version of these from a Calibra SE9 on my GSI. Nice that. C20 LET, another turbo. So there's a turbo with the traditional wheels on it. It's got the V grill on it as well. This is 16 valve, it might not be a turbo. And the nice light blue special edition ones. And here we go. This is one of my favourite Calibras. The SE2 in solar yellow. This is the colour I'm going to paint my Astra Estate myself in the garage. Like that. They're the last of the XEs really. You can see you got some of them on an M Reg. I think there's very few C20 XEs on an M. Here's another one. This is very nice. Bright yellow car convoy. Remember that? A couple of years ago. That's really nice. Love the colour of these. Because there was a whole range of Calibra special editions. And the very first SE2, which was Caribbean blue, was an 8-valver. And with this one, I think they went right up the SE9, and then you had the DTM versions as well. Magazines, this classic sports car. Ooh, March 22. Very recent. Cool. Here we've got a Calibra V6, Webster's Workshop. That's on YouTube, you can check that out. Nice. This one is a V6. Similar setup to what I've got in my Cavalier. And he's got, like, I think it's got a, is it like a front valance on it? Don't ask me what kind it is. Here we have an SE9. This way I broke one of these at you. We looked to get all the parts off from the GSI to 5-stud it and everything. These are nice. These have got air conditioning in them. They've got the BBS wheels. Well, these are very late models as well on an R reg. Vauxhall's big success story in the 60s and 70s was undoubtedly the Viva, and we've got a whole selection of them here: HA, HB and HC. HB versions of them, it's like in a Coke bottle styling on them. This one here, like that. What's this one? Viva Twin Cam. Got the RT badge like a Dodge. Oh, look at that. Lotus engine in it. That's going to take a few people by surprise, isn't it? It's got a Cobra bucket seats in it, Lotus steering wheel. Oh, this is a serious bit of kit, this. Wow. Never seen this before. Lotus Viva. Fantastic. The original Viva was the HA, which was replaced by the HB in the late 60s. There's a couple of versions of the HB there. Look at that, an SL90. Got lovely Coke bottle styling on that. And there is an HA beside it. An earlier one. There's a big difference between the two. The interesting thing was that the HA van survived right up until the 1980s. And there's one there. Early one. Escabags. And the reason they survived was there was a couple of fleets that loved them, one of which in particular was British Telecom. See here, this one's an X reg, and I think you could get these on a B reg. It was something absolutely crazy. But again, like that British gas van, it's really lovely to see these with the original sort of corporate livery on them as well. Really basic, simple little bits of kit. Of course, lasted for a really long time. The HC Viva came in 2-door, 4-door, kind of round-backed 2-door estate and a coupe. This being the 4-door version of it. This one must be quite high spec because it's got the twin headlights on it, which give it a kind of really nice tough look, even though it's just a 1300. But of course you could get a 1.8 litre engine in these and a 2.3 for a short while, but they weren't around for too long before Vauxhall decided to call the 1800s and the 2.3s Magnums. More interesting name, but I see this one. GLS was the top spec in the 70s, pretty much. I think so. That's how it's got the twin headlights on it and the plush interior. Just getting some background information on this amazing little telecom van, which was bought. A chap owns it called Lee, and he bought it what, 15 years ago?
About 15 years ago.
And it was going to get weighed in for scrap.
Yeah.
That's shame, because I mean, even 15 years ago, that's a classic vehicle, you know. It's interesting. What kind of condition was it in? They have to do a lot of work to it.
It wasn't too bad actually.
Put an arch in it, a wing on it, a bonnet, and a few bits more welding on it, and had it painted, and used it actually as it were. Back then, bits of primer and that. Also used it with scrap and stuff, used to load it up and that.
No, we've got that's from the telecom ad campaign in the early 80s with Busby.
Yeah, they used
to
to
be
be
sticker
on the side of comma vans.
Did they get that made? They have to get that remade?
Well, that guy found it, didn't you?
I found it.
You found it?
Got it stuck to a piece of magnet to contact.
Brilliant.
Little bits for it, like inside it's full of camping gear at the minute. It's got all sorts for it.
It's practical though. Look at all this.
Yeah.
Look at how much you can get inside of it. You know, that's handy bit of kit. I mean, the telecom guys had these for years and years and years.
Yeah.
They never. Well, it was telecom that specific. They must have liked them so much they kept requesting them. Eh?
Did.
Well, it's the 1256 engine that's in these. Yeah.
Stick to this one, yeah.
Is it? I seem to. There we go. Look. Is it?
It were owned by a butcher as well, and the guy who bought, they got it off the scrap. He used it for his for drums and that. He was in a band, and whoever had it before butcher, we don't know. We don't know if he bought it from auction, from BT, like.
Well, I remember BT used to auction them all off because my mate had an Astra van on an H reg, and he got that cheap through, like dirt cheap through these BT auctions because it would just dispose of the vans.
Just wanted to get rid of them. But, it's it's uncommon for it to actually stay local. Usually they just end up anywhere up and down country, like it actually stayed at a local van.
So this van, so you're from Sheffield, is it?
Yeah, and it's actually a Sheffield and Rotherham van.
Oh, so it's lived in the area his whole life?
Yeah. It's been slowly collecting up bits for it over the years, like...
Yeah, it's
that had no ladders, no ladder rack, no racking inside. So they just used it as a van, like...
Are these all little kind of BT specific bits and pieces you picked up over the years, huh? I think you know that the very early ones of these, I don't think even had heaters in them, did they? They were really basic and that, but with this being a late one, it'll be a little bit more luxurious.
Yeah.
I think we saw this at Brands Hatch, did we? Maybe? Don't know. Fancy looking thing, wide arch kit on it, droop snoot. The nice original. This is a Viva Coupe. Now of course the Coupes were more commonly Forenzas or Magnums, but you could get a Viva Coupe as well. This has got the basic Viva has got like the ruler speedometer in it. You probably can't see that, but it's just a straight speedo. Oh, it's got like an old 70s sort of tape deck in it as well. I love the shape of these. The Viva E, so there's not too many of those going about, like a base spec coupe. There's a lot of them back in the day would have been upgraded to sort of Magnum Forenza spec. I just love it. Look at the shine on this. Look at that lovely little 1300 coupe. It is immaculate. Just love the shape of these. Because like, comparatively, they're always very rare compared to the Mark II Escort. That's so clean. And here we've got now, you can see the difference with this. Instead of the coupe, this is a two-door saloon, and it's a 2.3, which they didn't make for very long because they changed it over to the Magnum with the twin headlights. So only the very early ones had those rectangular headlamps on them. And this one's got black vinyl seats in it, and yeah, you can tell it's got the spec on it. It's got the 3-spoke sports steering wheel, it's got the rev counter and the extra gauges. It's got the warning lamps in the middle of the dash. That's class, that, like. Really. I also note that this is for sale, which is interesting. Yeah, he's going about vinyl roof as well. Over here we have got a blue one. That's got the early spec dash in it. This is an HB Estate. Because you see, here's an Estate HC on the end. It's quite an unusual body design. They did the Estate as a two-door with this big bubble back on it. This enormous rear one-piece window. Odd concept for an Estate. Viva 1800L. You can see if you didn't have the E version and you went for an L, you got round gauges as opposed to the long straight speedometer. A lot of different shapes in these. Oh, this one's got square headlights on it as well, this one. It's kind of like sort of VX 490 spec on it. I've customised this. It's got the fancy seats in it. It's got a 5-speed gear lever in it. Don't know what it's out of. Imagine it will not have a standard engine in it. There's some parts for sale. You see how practical the Viva Estate is. You can fit a lot of stuff in them. Great to see so many here. Now my granddad had a Viva. It was a brown one, a P-Reg. They're kind of similar to that. That's a very early one for an HC, a K-Reg. That's metallic, sort of beige, bronze sort of colour. Again, this one's an E. It's got a little short stubby gear lever because it's a 1300 as opposed to the big long canted back one that you get with the bigger engines. It's nice, such a nice 70s design, I think. All of the shapes of them. Folks, that's all for this one from the VBOA National Rally at Sywell. I've got about another 45 minutes of footage, so I've divided it up into two, and you can see part 2 next week. Coming up next, we've got some video on the Gold Astra, which I've just brought out. There's a new car joining the fleet, which I'm delighted to show you very soon. And what else was it I did? Oh yeah, Pete's Nova. Loads of stuff coming in the next week or so. Please like and subscribe. Catch you later. You're trying to work out if you can get in this car for here, aren't you? That's not going to work, Bob. It's not going to work. Try it though, aren't you? You are the queen of all that you survey.